Hi everyone. Hello, hello, hello. Good morning. All well, good, all right. Let's start our today's session and we meet again to discuss today's newspaper that is for 8th of May. Yes? Are we all ready? Shall we start? I hope you're doing good. I hope you're studying well. I hope you're having fun. All right, all right, all right. Let's begin our today's session and we'll discuss some important news. However, most of the news today is repetitive. We've already discussed a lot of them, but we've picked up certain articles for you separately that have something new, something to update in your notes, right? Yeah. Okay, let's begin the session then. Are we all ready? Yes? Okay, let's start. So the first news that we have is building hazards. Building hazards. This has been in news since 3rd of May. Since 3rd of May, it has been in news. Why so? Because an incident happened. What incident happened? The incident was that a fire occurred. Okay, a fire occurred in a building, and in Vivek Vihar in Delhi. Okay, what happened was an AC blast occurred. Okay, an AC blast happened, and the fire kept spreading. The short circuit took place, and then fire kept spreading to each floor, rising up and up and up. And it took lives of 9 people, including a toddler of 1.5 years. Okay. This incident has once again brought up the fact that Indian buildings are not made according to the codes of hazards, right? According to the codes of fire hazards, etc. They're not made according to that. Why? Because the moment fire occurred, short circuit happened, and because of short circuit, electricity went out. Because electricity went out, all the electronic doors got closed. Now there was no other way to open them. They had no other way. Everybody was panicking. Everybody wanted to run away, but they were not able to do that. Some died on the stairwell while going to the roof to get fresh air, to get, out of the smoke. They were running towards upstairs, and because they were running towards upstairs, they were anyway out of breath, and then the whole smoke they inhaled, because of that, they collapsed on the stairwell itself and died right there. 9 people lost their life because of this simple thing, that we could not follow the codes of hazard, right? We could not follow the codes of hazard in our buildings. Good morning, good morning, good morning. 8:30, we start at 8:30, okay? Yeah, we've just started. We start at 8:30 a.m. daily. For the PDF, I'll get a link attached. Okay, right now there is no link. Yesterday I said that there was a link. I thought there is a link, but as it turns out, there is not. So I'll ask the team to attach a link where you can get the PDF. Okay, we'll do that soon. Just give us some time. All right. Okay. So this incident occurred where 9 people lost their life just in a single building. Just imagine, in a single building, 9 people losing their life just because they were not able to escape the building. They wanted to run away, but they couldn't because all the doors were closed shut, because everything was electronic. And because everything was electronic, it was running on electricity. And because it was running on electricity, due to short circuit, everything closed down. Now the thing is, a people's safety, public safety, that's small of an issue that while making the buildings, we don't even consider that, right? Why? Because we have several codes. We have several codes according to which the buildings should be made, and they should be made safe. Like we should have 2 stairwells. Okay. Now, generally, today buildings have just one narrow stairwell, and that too we use as a storage unit. Because everybody is using what? Hydraulic lifts. Now, they forget that these hydraulic lifts are only working up until you have electricity. That's why it is always said that in case of fire, never use lift, never use escalators, never use any such thing that is working on electricity, because you'll get stuck. Simple. Is that not? Now, this building had hydraulic lifts, that's fine. But another thing that happened was the windows, like the balconies or the exit areas that are supposed to be there, they had building boards, building billboards or society's name or, large boards attached to that. Now, when the fire extinguishers were brought down, when they wanted to enter into the building, because of these billboards, they were not able to enter. Right? And now, besides that, another thing that happened was, you must have seen that because of, birds interception, right? Birds interception and, yes, it will be helpful. Yes, it will be helpful. And because of, possibilities of animal attack or possibility of burglars entering, what people have done is they've added strong iron made covers to their balconies. Okay, it has ventilation, that is fine, but they're designed like that. This is a strong element made, like it will have some sort of design, and these will be added to the balconies to prevent people from entering from the balconies, okay, for theft, etc., protection. Now, because of this, again, from the balconies also, fire extinguishers or, the people for safety who had arrived, they were not able to enter. Now, they had to glass cut. They had to cut down the system before they could enter and turn off the fire, extinguish the fire. Where is the safety? There is no point to enter. There is no place to enter for them. And if there's no place, how are they going to get inside and extinguish the fire? And because of that, we lost so many lives in a single building. Now, India really needs to focus on its architecture and really needs to focus on the codes that are given, because they're no joke. These incidents that keep happening from time to time, every other day we see another incident of fire and we again see that codes were not followed. Yes, the most important thing we witness is that codes were not followed. Is that not? And because of that, this happened. So the news again highlights what kind of codes there are and what kind of codes we need to follow. Like we have to have 2 stairwells. When there are, everything is working on electronics, you need to have extra keys set up so that in case of emergency, those keys can be used to open the doors anyway, even when there is no electricity. They should be allowed to open, right? The roof access was also limited. Now, these days, what happens is, anybody who gets the top flat, the top floor, gets the access to the roof, and they lock the roof because we want to have access to the roof. Isolated access, right? We don't want everybody to use the roof because roof is ours. We have paid the money for that. We will lock the roof. What kind of concept is that? If you want a roof and a land, you go buy a house, don't buy a flat. Is that not? But they want roof access. Because there was roof access, roof was also locked. So people had to break down the lock and then enter the roof. So such mismanagements are continuously witnessed every other day, right? Yeah. News article is, this is just to show you that this is the article, so you can find it in the paper. Don't worry. I'm explaining everything to you. You don't have to read the article right now. You go home after the class and then you read it. Okay. Yeah. We'll just discuss the important things so that you know what to read in the paper. Yeah. Okay. Hi, good morning, everyone. So now we've come up with codes that we have a lot of other codes and we need to follow them. The important thing is we need to follow them because we have certain laws, right? Because this whole design that was of the building, this itself became a death trap. You understand? It was not fire that killed them. It was the death trap set up in the building. The construction of the building was the death trap. It was not fire. They could have escaped from the fire easily because AC blast does not give you that rapid fire. Right? They could have escaped had the building been constructed properly. So this was not because of fire. This death was because of the building. This death was because of the construction that was done irresponsibly. Clear? Yeah. So we need to follow that because we already have many things in place, many codes in place, but we are just not following them, right? Like we have National Building Code of 2016. You see, we have National Building Code of 2016 that tells us what kind of buildings can be made and how they should be structured, how hazards can be handled there. It contains a special part with fire and life safety, right? Part 4 of this code specially deals with fire and life safety, and yet we have nothing to show for it. We have nothing to show for it. None of this has been followed. None of this has been followed, right? We have model building bylaws. We have model building bylaws. Model building has been set up, what kind of building you should be making, and yet we are not making the same. Yes, yet we are not making the same structures, and this is getting really annoying now, right? 2 staircase rule is there. Then we have, open space requirements, fire NOC. You should get, before launching the building, you should get fire NOC, where fire department would come and assess whether your building has fire safety or not. During the time of fire, whether this building will be safe or not. None of them get that NOC. None of them get that NOC. And yet they're running. And yet they're running, they're allowed to run, and they're not emptied every other day, right? So everybody is, a part of this crime. Everybody is a part of this crime. The system that allowed these buildings to open up, that did not seal them very first day when they started running without that NOC. If they had NOC, how did they get NOC in such a building? That means the fire department is also corrupt. Right. So it is pointing finger at every other aspect related to this construction, on the builders, on the governmental authorities who have assigned these buildings to them, who have assigned these documents to them. Everybody is in question. Right. So we really need to revisit this whole system and make sure that this doesn't happen again. Clear? Yes? Yeah. This was our news. Now, what we have today, and as compared to what we should have, just take a look. In terms of exits, we should have minimum 2 staircases that should be greater than 15 meters. Right now, we have only single narrow system, a single narrow staircase system. Yes? But keeping locks and using iron grills are also important for safety purposes. What can we do to maintain both aspects? Yes. See, safety is also important. We'll talk about that. First, let's see this access. We have 6 meters clear setback for fire tenders. The setback for is used for parking, elevator. They use it for anything, the space, so that they can get best use of the space commercially without paying any heed to the safety. Maintenance, they should have annual AMC, functional testing should be done. The hydraulic lift, while it was running, you see, there were fire extinguishers already present in the building. That is like a requirement to put up. None of them were working. None of them were working. They were not even tested, right? So what is the use of putting them there? Then the power, fire safe electrical circuits should be there, so they don't catch short circuit right this second, right? Yeah. Basements should have strict smoke extraction and separate exits also. But they are always used for illegal factories, renting out shops, and making maximum commercial benefits out of it, right? But now if you want to be safe and you want to have this as well, what you have to do is you have to come up with a structure that is breakable easily by the fire extinguisher department, right? And if we say it is easily breakable, it will be easily breakable for thieves as well, right? But then you have to have separate lock system for your rooms, for your house. Have better security there, right? For birds, you can have the net. Net would be enough, right? Yeah. Now, given the choice, would these 9 people have given up their wealth to the thieves, or would they have chosen to die? You see the choice here, right? You need to have security. You take better security measures for your house, within the house, right? Outside of the house, where fire hazards can happen and balconies need to be made accessible, that should be left open. Is that clear? It is anyway harming our houses because the ventilation is so minimalized that people are anyway getting sick every other day. Clear? All right. That was our news. That was our news. Moving on to the next article. I hope this is clear. Yes? Yes, this is clear. Okay, moving on to the next article, that is, we discussed this earlier as well, This has come into news again because of the abortion being allowed for a rape victim. Okay, we discussed this previously. This is an interview where it is being specified that whether things should be changed for the abortion of minors or rape victims, whether we need a change. And this article is continuously focusing on one thing, that while abortions are allowed on a situation basis judged by a court, this should be rather, self-proclaimed. Everybody should have the right on their body, and that's the way it should be. But however, this raises a question that female infanticide that has been stopped because of such strict regulations might again increase if we allow people to have abortions every now and then on their own choice, right? Because women in India are still not empowered enough to fight off their husbands or families who are forcefully making her have an abortion because she has a girl child, right? These things keep happening yet. And if we allow that to happen, how would that go? So this is for you to read. We have already discussed the issue. This is for you to read because it will give you a better insight on how to write your mains answer if such a question is asked. And please remember, this is an amazing topic for essay. An amazing topic for essay. We've already discussed the issue in short previously. Okay, I've summed it up again. This is for you to read, to develop a writing style for yourself, like how to organize your thoughts and write them in a particular manner, right? So this is for you, okay? Just go and read this article and think about it and try to write an essay on this topic, whether we should do this or not. Abortion, should it be a choice or should it be regulated? Should it be an independent choice or should it be regulated by the government, by the court, by the justice system? Should it be regulated? Write an essay on that and you'll see how this article helps you write a wonderful one. Okay, that is the significance of this one. We've already discussed the issue. I just wanted to highlight the importance of the article so that you go home and read this in the paper. Okay, just give this a read. I'll explain this in short. I have already done that. But the thing is, when you read this, you will get better insight, better statements for your answer, better writing method for your answer. Okay, so please give this a read. Please give this a read. Okay, yeah. Moving on. Next article is openness, not isolation, is the bedrock of the West. Okay. This article again is very important. Why is it so important? Just understand that. The very basic thing this article is saying that in today's world, isolationism is not the way to have development. Why? Because when you are isolated, you are not interacting with other people. Right? Let's say US today decides, because this is also like, a sarcastic comment on the US's I can do everything on myself, by myself syndrome, right? That is happening recently. US is like, I'll do this myself. I'll, attack everybody. US can sustain on itself. I will throw everybody out. I will cancel everybody's visas. So without taking names, this article is actually a sarcastic comment on such policies of isolationism that nations are moving towards today, right? So what they're saying is that you cannot move towards isolationism because today you see most of the nations of the West, most of the developed nations are moving towards an older population. Their demographic dividend is changing. With that changing demographic dividend, do you really think you can sustain on your own? How? How do you think that is possible? Because you won't have any workforce. If you don't have a workforce, you will have to call people from other countries. If you are isolated, how do you expect other countries to send people to you? Right? Because today every country is coming up with a cross identity that we are cross-culturally connected. We have historical connections. We have cultural connections. Our cultural disparities are nothing but today's evolutions of coming from one single unit, from one single identity. Everybody is trying to build a connection, right? You see every country going and saying that we need to have people-to-people contact. Yes, do we do that? Right? When we go to any other nation, does our Prime Minister address our people, the Indian people, or our diaspora, anywhere they go? PM does that, right? Whenever we see, okay, PM has gone to New Zealand, so the next day we'll see that PM is talking to Indian diaspora in the New Zealand, right? PM has gone to UK, they're talking to Indian diaspora in UK. Do you see that? Have we seen that in news consistently? Yes? Yeah. Why does that happen? Because we are trying to access our diaspora, because that is how we connect, people to people connection, cultural connection, identity connection, that most of your population is also Indian. They are living there harmoniously. We can also live harmoniously. We do that. And while building those connections, what we are trying to do is that we are trying to come out of the isolation phase. We're trying to say that we are interdependent. While we are interdependent, let's work together for our development. Now, some countries today are moving towards isolationism. So the article is highlighting that when you move towards isolationism, when you keep yourself separate, like I will do this alone, I can do this, I can do anything and everything, I'm so powerful, I don't need you. This kind of attitude in today's world is not helpful. It will get you nowhere. Why? Because you see, when you developed COVID vaccine, do you think your team held only people of your own diaspora? No. You had people from around the world. When you want people to come and work for you, do you think only your country people can do that? No. You invite people from other areas as well. Today, Indians like Sundar Pichai, etc., they are sitting on such positions. Why? Because they were given the chance. They went out from the country, they went somewhere else and they were given the chance. Why? Because they have to give talent a chance. It is not that you can just restrict everything to your own people, right? It is like having a wedding. You have a wedding at your home. Do you think you can do everything on your own without hiring any caterers, without hiring decorators, without hiring any staff, waiters? Do you think you can have a proper wedding without that? As long as you're having a large-scale wedding. If you're going in the court to sign, you can do that without anyone, right? But a large-scale wedding, do you think it is possible without actually having such huge help? So whenever you are going out, like India needs critical minerals, can we stay isolated and think that, okay, we will be able to fulfill our critical mineral needs? We need them from China. It is what it is. We cannot help that because geographical distribution is unfair. What do we do about that? You don't have critical minerals. They have critical minerals. 91% of rare earth metals are found in China. How in the world are you going to survive without asking China for rare earth metals? 91% of the world's rare earth metal is with China. Just imagine. Do you think India can go by without asking China to give us rare earth metals? Without stating clearly that yes, we are dependent upon you because you have to give us that. You hold 91%, right? So that is something we have to understand. In today's multipolar world, attitude like isolationism is not going to go anywhere, and that will only lead to destructions and failures at times of crisis like COVID, war, etc. Right? You see Strait of Hormuz when Iran took control of that, and you saw how things happened. US needed support, nobody came forward, because if you are following isolationist policy, why would anyone come forward to help you? Why would anyone come forward and support you in that? Right? Yeah. So article is clearly saying that you go towards isolationism, that is fine for some time for your development, like India adopted NAM. In the beginning of independence, India adopted NAM, non-alignment policy. That was fine. Why was it fine? Because NAM allowed us to have our own developmental time. We needed some time to develop ourselves. We were just going in a speed to just have a crash because we were totally disturbed. How were we disturbed? We were politically disturbed, we were socially disturbed, we were economically disturbed. We needed some time to gather our thoughts and we took that time. But does that mean we can forever adopt NAM policy? Of course not. Do we not get engaged today? We have views upon Philippines, we have views on Russia, Ukraine, we have views on Israel, Palestine, we have views on everything. We come up with our own opinions. Why? Because we are not sticking to NAM forever. That is development. You cannot stay isolated forever. You take your isolated time, that is fine, but then again, you have to change that. And in terms of West, what is happening today is that civilizational connection is something that is a strength of USA. If we talk specifically about USA in West, Civilizational strength is something that has taken them forward, right? Because they have ethnicity, they have people from all the diversities, all the religions, all the race, all the creed, they have that. And because of their concepts of liberty, fraternity, they have come up with such stable system. Now if you go towards isolationism, everybody is going to feel like our civilization is getting threatened. And if they feel that, they will never support you. And if they don't support you, instability is for sure to happen. And now the problem is, if one nation gets instabilized because of their own policy, that is fine. But a nation like USA, that has stakes in every other part of the world, if they get instabilized, every other country's economy, political structure takes a hit of that, right? So that's a problem. If you get unstable, we are going to face a problem because of that. So you need to take care of yourself. Clear? So this is a warning that West really needs to rethink its policies right now, so that better alignment can be made and the world can be stabilized, because consistent war throughout the world is not the way to go. Not good for us, not good for development, not good for economy, definitely not good for environment. Right? So this will not just be an end of a nation, this will be an end of a civilization. Right? If we just keep on going, having wars like these continuously every other day. Clear? Is that clear? Yes, this was our article regarding policies of West. Yes, is that clear? Yes, yes, yes. All right, all right, all right, all right. Let's move forward to our next article. Another important article, that is Kerala has come up with oil spill policy. Okay. What is oil spill? We'll discuss a few things in step by step. First of all, what is oil spill? Then what are its hazards? Like, why is it so bad? Okay. And then what policy has Kerala come up with? These three things we have to discuss. One by one, we'll go by it. First of all, what is oil spill? Do we know what is oil spill? Tell me. Yeah, the PDF has been a problem. Yes, I was told yesterday about that. I'm really sorry for that. I will make sure that I talk to the team today, and by tomorrow I will have a solution for you. Okay, just give me today's time. Just today I saw that the link is actually not for PDF but for course. I'm really sorry for that. I thought the link was for PDF. I'll talk to the team today. Just give me today's time, and tomorrow I'll have a solution for you for that. Okay, just give me today's time. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Tell me, so what is oil spill? In your words, in your terms, in your ideology, what is oil spill? What do you think is oil spill? Natural oil spilled. The term itself is oil spills. Oil has been spilled. The problem is that when we talk in general about oil spill and on such scale, we talk about oil spill on water resources. Okay. The difference is we are talking about oil spill on water resources. Okay. Water resources like rivers and oceans. Okay. Whenever huge tankers, this is not like a bottle of oil, this is like huge tankers. Let's say a tanker is coming to India, an oil tanker is coming to India from Strait of Hormuz. Okay. And on the way, it gets spilled on the ocean itself. Okay. On the ocean itself, the tanker spills out and the entire oil has been spread out in the ocean. What will happen? Just take a glass of water and spill some oil into that. Try to mix it. Does it mix? If you try to mix oil and water, does it mix? Or do you see separate bubbles of oil forming throughout the water instead of a constant mixture? Yes? Yeah. They don't mix, right? So now what happens is this whole oil that has gotten spilled. This is, let's say, ocean's boundary, the water, and here we have the whole oil layer. What happens is, since it cannot get mixed, and now in a glass of water, you are actually trying to spin it. Can you do that in the ocean? Like you stand there and try to spin the whole oil? Of course not, right? So what happens is, because of the density difference, water stays here and oil stays here, and they form a frictionless boundary. Okay. Because of this boundary, what happens is, the entire layer of the water, the entire layer of water here gets covered with oil, because of which it gets no sunlight, no air, no interaction with oxygen whatsoever. Yes. Now this not only pollutes the water, but this also affects the aquatic life beneath it. The aquatic life also gets affected beneath it, because of the oil, the plants won't be able to do photosynthesis, because sun rays won't be able to penetrate properly, right? Oxygen won't be interacting with the water. Waves won't be able to, spin. They have internal circulation, you know that, right? Such internal circulation keeps happening at the surface of the ocean also, in the depth also and on the surface also. This won't be able to happen because of the heavy layer of oil. So this oil spill is a huge hazard. Wastage of oil, wastage of money, the whole trade got wasted, layers of water disturbed, right? Waves of water disturbed, water polluted, aquatic life suffering because of it. So it is a disastrous hazard, and more importantly, it is very difficult to actually extract oil from there. Right? It takes a huge amount of infrastructure, huge amount of money to be spent to actually take back that spill and clean the ocean. It takes a huge amount of effort, and yet we are not able to do it completely. 100% foolproof plan to actually remove this oil from the layer is not possible. We don't have that. It is not practically possible to take out 100% of it. That way, the oil stays there, and sometimes it gets, because of the currents. See, when top layer has been removed, the currents will start occurring again. But because of these currents, the oil bubbles will now go beneath the surface, right? This is the water level, and because of that circulation, the oil bubbles that will form, that will go beneath the surface, and beneath the surface we have aquatic life. Now the fishes that are there, that are going to swallow the water, they will also swallow the oil bubble. And once they swallow the oil bubble, it doesn't sit right with their digestive system and they die, right? And if that small fish is eaten by another bigger fish, they will also get that oil component and they will also die. That way a chain of events happens, right? So it is very hazardous. Do you understand the problem with respect to oil spill? Yes? Do you understand the problem? Yeah, if you understand the problem, let's talk about the solution that Kerala has come up with, okay? Clear? So, to avoid this, Kerala has come up with oil spill contingency plan. Why so? Because recently, like this keeps happening. It is not like only these two events, but recently two events happened, because of which this became a huge necessity. Everybody was like, well, we have to do something about it. This is getting like an incident of every other day, right? So two incidents happened, that is MSC Elsa 3. Two vessels we had, MSC Elsa 3, number 1, and the second one, MV One High 503. These two vessels got spilled in the ocean. Yeah, these two vessels were a wreck, like shipwreck happened, and because of this environmental hazard, cargo and the whole calcium carbide that this contained got spread into the water, right? Different kinds of chemical that get mixed into the water, then this will destroy the aquatic life and the water pollution. Plastic pellets were also there, they were also spread out, right? Yeah, and not just on a particular area, this got spread to a 590 kilometer coastline of the state, entire coastline, 590 kilometers coastline suffered because of this shipwreck, right? So what happened is, because of these incidents, Kerala thought that, okay, it is time to come up with the plan. So they came up with the plan, Kerala's oil spill contingency plan. Okay. Now this plan, what they're trying to do is, they're trying to have a jurisdiction first of all. They submitted a plan to NGT. Naturally, NGT deals with such things, you know that, right? Yeah. So they submitted a plan to NGT and said that we need to come up with something better. So they gave the jurisdiction, they covered that marine oil spills within 12 nautical miles. You know the limits of 12 nautical and 200 nauticals, yes? We have two kinds of water limits, that is 12 nauticals and 200 nauticals. So they said that within 12 nautical miles, that is 24 kilometers, and 40 kilometers inland. This will be the applicability area of this particular plan, right? First of all, where will the plan be applicable? Till 12 nautical miles across the water and 40 kilometers inland also. That will be the range up till where this plan will be functional. Second, we will do a mapping according to that, so that we have environmental safety index, because of that, which we will be able to access what kind of environmental safety is measurable there and what kind of measures are needed more, and according to that we will map the areas of high sensitivity zone so that we make special policies for that area. Yeah, so such a mapping will be done. Then a response strategy like wildlife response, shipboard pollution, emergency plan, what to do if this happens. Like an emergency plan should be in order, like right the moment it happens, you send up that contingency plan and you try to control as much as possible, right? Entire oil won't spill suddenly, right? There must be a leak, something must be happening. You can close that down, you can limit the loss. At least you can do that if you have immediate contingency plan, if you have an emergency team ready. So let's do that. Let's have an emergency team. And in case of compliance, they said that we'll have National Oil Disaster Contingency Plan. We already have National Oil Disaster Contingency Plan. Based on that, in compliance to that, Kerala will have a special state level plan. Yeah. We will comply with all your norms, but we'll also personalize it according to Kerala's own needs, Kerala's own coastline, Kerala's own environmentally sensitive zones. Is that clear? Yes? Yeah. So what are the components that they've come up with? The components that they've come up with is a chain of command. There will be a clear define of duties and responsibilities, who is responsible for doing what, and that way they will be able to cater to the needs properly. The second thing that they're doing is we have a resource database, like what kind of machinery is available, what kind of personnel is available for immediate access, so that you don't have to just rush out and call anybody in sight. You need to have a resource of trained personnel also, with machineries also, and you need to have a record of what is available, so that on immediate basis when there is a need, you can call upon them. Yeah, so that resource database will be managed. Then shoreline management will also be done, because of oil characteristics and what kind of managements we can do there, that will also be assessed and made sure that we have a proper database of it as well. Yeah, clear? Yeah. Then mitigation, if crisis happens, for crisis management and administrative actions, we will take, certain principles. What kind of principles will be taken? First of all, scientific modeling, where hydrodynamic and oil spill modeling will be done, right? Because of this, we'll have plans of hydrolifting. Like the moment spill happens, you will be able to, through a thrust of motor, you will be able to pull out all the water and oil of that area. Right? You will be able to implant a machine and you will be able to pull out all the water and oil immediately, that very second, before it gets engulfed into internal system and harms the aquatic life. Yeah. The second thing, expert vetting. There will be a dedicated committee of experts sitting for this, to keep re-evaluating the situations and keep modernizing and keep advancing the whole process. Right? And then lastly, we have national clearance. Indian Coast Guard obviously needs to clear that whole plan, and central coordination is very necessary, because already central plan is functional there. So there is no friction. That's why central coordination will also be considered. Yes? Clean the canals and waterways. Is it used for the oil spill hazards to clean it? That is for more for pollution, okay, the common pollution, because oil spill cannot be extracted with normal waste management appliances, right? We need a separate identity for that. Clear? Yeah. Okay. So this is what they are doing to deal with oil spill. Okay. I have another article for you. Clear? This one is clear? Yeah. Okay. I have another article for you that you have to read. There is nothing as such that you will get for prelims or mains specifically. This doesn't relate to your topic or anything, but this does give you a beautiful writing style. If you read this article, you will be amazed at how a simple thing of art, a simple thing of colonial representation, colonial depiction can be written so beautifully. Just read this article and you'll be like, yes, mind blown. So do that once. This is just for you to read. Take the title, find that in the paper and read it. Okay. Yeah. Okay. We'll have a few questions. We'll solve a few questions and then we'll end the session. Clear? That was the news for the day. We'll solve a few questions and then we'll end the session. Ready for the questions? Yes. Good morning. Good morning. You're late. We start at 8:30. Please try to join on time. We are already done with today's articles. We are just solving a few questions. Participate in the questions, okay? Yeah. Ready for the questions? You have question number 1. Please read the question and try to answer carefully. Yeah. Give me your answer. Yeah. What's your answer? Yes. All right. We discussed this yesterday. We solved the questions of yesterday's paper, so you have time to prepare for them. The answer is B, 1 and 3 only. Second and fourth are wrong. The portal acts as a single window interference for final settlement. No, we said that there will be no final settlement through this. Unclaimed deposit in post offices are also included. No, this is the main issue that we discussed, that none of these are included and the petition is saying that you should include these as well. Yeah. Okay. Next one. Very nice, very nice, very nice. Solve the next question quickly. Clear? Done? Regarding Project Freedom. B. Okay. Very nice. The answer is D. That is 1, 2 and 3. Okay. All 3 statements are correct regarding Project Freedom that has been recently launched by USA to deal with the whole Middle East issue that is going on. Okay. So just remember that UPSC loves these operations and they just directly ask in a single statement question. Right? Yeah. All 3 are correct. All 3 are correct. Next question. With reference to NCRB, yesterday we discussed National Crime Record Bureau, the new data that has been issued by NCRB. Yes, you remember that? Gini coefficient we discussed. Yeah. Solve the question based on that. Okay. Give me an answer. We solved the question. Done? Option A. Alright, the answer is B actually, 2 and 3. Number 1, total number of cognizable crimes. So double digit percentage decline, no 6%. Okay. Then 4th is also wrong. This is fine. 50% increase is fine. But the state was not Punjab but Tamil Nadu. Remember that? Yeah. The state was not Punjab but Tamil Nadu. Clear? Yeah. That's our answer. Is that clear? Okay. That was our paper for the day. Thank you so much for joining in. And we'll meet tomorrow again at 8:30 a.m. to discuss further. Yes, I hope today's paper was clear. Go home and read the important articles that I've listed here. Please do that. You will love those articles. They're wonderful. Try to write the essay as well. Okay? All right. All the best. Thank you so much.